TB-9763 to control. I've swept my sector, and there's no sign of the suspects here.
The land speeder has a snap-open space hatch and Star Wars action figures are...
But beneath that uniform, she is the Wonder Woman doll.
You can pit He-Man against Beast-Man playing for the power of Castle Grayskull.
My little pony, my little pony.
G.I. Joe, American hero.
You're going nowhere. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of heat time.
Hasbro brings us a ton of characters from Star Wars in the Black Series. Certainly a healthy portion of clone troopers. But there are characters that have never gotten a Black Series treatment, and some have never even gotten the 3.75-inch treatment either. This is a list of characters that I'd like to see in the Black Series. Emmy89. While I'm not an admirer of the sequel trilogy, I can appreciate some of the designs, and I can see the potential in them. Emmy89 is an antique protocol droid owned by Maz Kanata. We can see her in the background in Maz's castle. She has a very unique design, with that head shape, the dull bronze finish, and the equivalent of high heels on a protocol droid. The pirate crew to the Mise-en Martinet. We got a 2-pack of Captain Athano and Quiggled back when The Force Awakens first came out, but I'd like to see those guys in a Black Series scale. In the years since The Force Awakens, we learned that those guys are just part of a larger pirate crew. These characters were featured in a Lego game, a short story, a couple comics, and the captain was even seen in an episode of the Resistance cartoon, which everybody's rightfully forgotten about by now. Still, if Hasbro could do what they did for the bounty hunters from Empire, then creating a pirate crew doesn't seem impossible. That crew consists of a red-skinned Twi'lek named Reveth, a Hulk-sized Grimorian named Squeaky, an Ishi Tib named Pindaquill, and an unfrozen clone trooper medic named Kix. And, of course, the captain and his first mate. Next, I'd like to see more versions of Leia. If we're never going to get another slave Leia, how about some of her other outfits from the comics and the games? Start with Leia's adventurer costume, which we see both in the comics and in the Battlefront games. This is a great combination of one of Padmé's costumes and Leia's Hoth attire. I'm not sure which hairstyle I like best, but what if Hasbro made it so that you could swap out her hair from one style to the other? Next would be the Splinter of the Mind's Eye Leia. In the Dark Horse adaptation of this story, they gave Leia one of the concept art versions of Leia's A New Hope costumes. This would be a very different look for Leia because it's black and dark green. The concept art was most recently used in an episode of Rebels, where they decided to give Leia a lighter version of this costume. But the dark Mimban Miners version of this costume would be great. Side note here, am I the only one who thinks that Teela's costume from the 1987 Masters of the Universe movie looks a lot like the concept art for Leia's costume? I want more Rebels, more army builders. Hasbro did a fantastic job with the Hoth Rebel, and being able to change their look by changing their face, or putting on their goggles, or even adding or removing their scarf. The Rebels could use more infantry, and with the 2015 and 2017 Battlefront games, there are some great additions to the Rebel Alliance. The designers of the games made variations in the Alliance's battle dress, depending on which theaters of operation they were in, so there's a lot of possibilities here. The Battlefront games would be a great source of inspiration for more figures. You have heavy weapons troopers, you have specialists, and you even have rebel jump troopers. In the game, you can customize these characters by changing their ethnicity, their species, not to mention this would be the perfect opportunity to include more female figures. What I would like to see most are the Magma Rebels. These were the rebels that were part of the diversionary battle on the planet Sullust. Their gear and their color scheme signify that they were going to be fighting on a volcanic world. Would I like to see an Imperial Magma Trooper? Yes. But I'd like Hasbro to make an accessory pack that came with different colored pauldrons, different weapons, and different backpacks. Because believe it or not, Stormtroopers wear a lot of different styles of backpack. On just Tatooine alone, there was multiple types of backpacks used. But if you had an accessory set that included the Jedha style, the Tatooine style, and the Magma Trooper style backpack, then we could take those and we could outfit our troopers however we wanted. In Rogue One, there was a background character that had a very cool look. The visual dictionary for Rogue One would later tell us that this character's name was Tamposla, and he was a bounty hunter. Like many of the best-looking characters, he's on screen for very little time, but his story unfolded in the Star Wars comics. I made a joke about how many clone troopers Hasbro has made, but at the height of the Clone Wars series, they also made a lot of bounty hunters. One of the bounty hunters that they never made, not even in 3.75-inch scale, was Razzie, which is unfortunate because they made several other bounty hunters from the prequel era, including Aurra Sing and Cad Bane. I'd like Hasbro to do a Razzie in Black Series. I'm very interested to see how they would do her Viper Boa as an accessory and a weapon. Lastly, how about a cyborg from the 1980s Marvel Star Wars comics and the new Marvel Star Wars comics? Sure, his backstory has changed, but he still looks pretty cool. I'm talking about Valance, or Baylor Valance, if that's how you pronounce it. If you couldn't tell, I'm all about soldiers, aliens, and bounty hunters. Valance was a predominant character in the War of the Bounty Hunters series of comics. He has a very unique look for Star Wars. It's something more in line with the Terminator or Cyborg Superman. But that's the beauty of bounty hunters, is you get to assemble this motley crew of droids and aliens, of former soldiers, or just people that have a grudge against society. Well, that's it for now. I have a bunch more characters that I wish were figures, but I'll save that for another time. What characters do you wish that they made into Black Series figures? Are there teams or factions that you wish got more love? Let me know in the comments. And tune in next playtime when Newt reviews some truly amazing figures.